Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for the 45th episode of the Podwans podcast. I am your host, Char J, joined by my co-host, Luke.
It's 46. Oh, it is 45. Never mind. I was going to say 46.
Not even you remember.
See, it's the week before celebration. Give me some slack. Okay.
See, and that's the thing. It says on the note that it's 46, but I remember that it's 45. So you are an uncultured Podwans host. Okay.
Wow.
That's why you root
Wow.
for me, okay?
Already taking shots at me.
And you're already lagging, so...
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, so today we'll be covering Season 4, Episodes 19 and 20 of The Clone Wars. This is Episode 19, Massacre, and Episode 20, Bounty. This is the Asajj Ventress arc, and I'm excited to cover it today. How about you, Luke?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yep.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
And we're back. So today, we have three guests today. We have one returner and three rookies of the Podwans podcast. So, Luke, are you ready for me to introduce them to the show?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm stoked.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome.
So our first guest today is returning for another episode of the Podwans podcast. As I said, this is our returner. Usually I do the returners first and then the rookies second. She has been on episodes 28, Sphere of Influence, episode 31, Evil Plans, and episode 34, the Savage Press arc. And today she's returning to talk about Asajj Ventress with us.
And she will also be on the next episode.
Yeah,
Darth
she
Maul.
is. She's an artist, she's a writer, and she's a cosplayer. Let's reintroduce Liv at Kyber Crystal Designs.
Hi.
Hey, Liv. Thanks for coming on again to talk about some Asajj Ventress, because we both know I'm Obi-Wan and you're Ventress.
Yep.
We just couldn't miss that opportunity to have you back on. But how you
Luke,
been?
Red's not your color.
Yeah, red is not my color. Red is not my color.
I've been good, and I'm hoping to cosplay her again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Char, next.
And our second guest is a rookie to the Podwans podcast. She is known on TikTok as the COVID Matt Murdock, and she is another fellow Star Wars fan. Let's bring in Hannah at Hanchiar.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
How does it feel to be called rookie? On this is it actually, and let me just preface this. This is her first ever podcast. So let's all give her a round of applause. Another
Very
rookie.
nice. Very nice.
This is her first podcast.
Thank you.
So I feel honored that we are her first podcast, which is funny because Liv's first podcast was also our podcast. So we just love getting great content creators and having people that make good stuff on to talk some Star Wars. So we're honored that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
And Liv, sorry. Where can we find you on social media?
I am at Kyber Crystal Designs on both TikTok and Instagram.
And Hannah.
I'm at Hanchiar on TikTok.
Awesome.
So
All
it is
right.
Hanchiar. I was debating
Yeah.
between if it was Hanchiar
I think I said
or
it wrong. I
Hanchiar.
think I said it wrong.
It's that Lando and the Lando dilemma where it's like, is it Han or Han? But
Yes.
I go with Han because I'm Hannah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think I said Hanchiar. And I sound so. It's not the first time. I have screwed up a lot of guest names. Not even gonna lie. Like Char can attest to that.
I've been called Hana before, so it wouldn't be the first time I'd be
Really
called Hanchiar either.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, you'd be amazed how they could mess up Hannah.
Han and Han just makes sense. But glad to have you on.
Yep. And our third and final guest today is another rookie to the Podwans podcast. She is another Star Wars fan and a content creator. Let's introduce Meg at Megskyrenobi.
Hi.
How is it going? We were supposed to have you on a couple of weeks ago. We missed ya, which is fine. It happens.
I know I felt so bad. I never do that. I've literally I don't think I've ever done anything like that in my life. So when I read the message and it was from the day before and I was like, wait a minute, that's today. That's not, And then I was like, no, oh my God, I did not do that. And immediately I was like, I'm a crier.
No.
So I was like
It-
crying. I'm like, I'm such an awful person.
That happens. That
No,
happens.
no,
We've had a
hey,
few instances
it wouldn't
where
be-
guests forget when they come on, and it's like they schedule their appearance like 4 to 5 months in advance.
Yeah. And I
that's
put it
the
in my
issue.
calendar
And it
wrong
happens. And it
initially.
happens. It's like
So,
you want a certain arc, and you plan very long in
yeah,
ahead.
I love C3PO
And-
and R2D2. I was so sad. I was like, I love
Yeah.
them. I prepared for this.
And that's
No,
the thing,
yeah.
when you plan on covering an arc of that long in time in advance, you have no idea what your schedule is going to look like. So I mean,
Yep.
it makes sense, but I mean, it is
We're
what
here
it is.
now.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And where can the good people follow you on social media?
Megskyrenobi on TikTok. Yeah. Yep.
Heck yeah. So we always start with a icebreaker question. So I thought of this because I thought about it. I was talking to not a Kyber or Alanis. If you guys don't follow her, go follow her. She's great. She's a great content creator. And I was like laying in bed for some reason watching YouTube. I was like, okay, I'm in the mood to listen to some Linkin Park. And I was like, how can I make this
course you were.
making this into a TikTok? Now, so the question is, hold on, let me get to the question because I've got like multiple things up now. Okay, so what is a band or a song that you associate with a Star Wars character?
Ooh.
Anybody can go. Or is it the original Dancing Queen? Because both of them slap.
I think the original one slaps
Oh,
more than
okay.
the Mamma Mia one, but I mean, that's just my opinion. I love
Okay,
Mamma Mia, but I
alright.
think that one in particular, I think the original is
Okay.
better.
All right. Okay. Liv said earlier before we started the episode that she had to go back to middle school days. So
Mhm.
I'm really excited
It
to
was
see
scary,
this.
man. Okay, I came up with way too many, but I think okay. Tequila by the Champs gives such Hondo vibes. I would see him in his ship, just vibing.
Wait, you say for
Tequila!
which
Yeah.
character?
Hondo Naka likes
Oh, he's
tequila. Oh God, that's
Oh my
that's
God.
that's too good. Liv.
I smell
How long-
profit and
Yeah,
tequila.
tequila. How long were you thinking of that? How long
Way
did
too
that
long.
take you?
Way too long.
At
That's
first
great.
sight. Yep, that's it.
That's
That's the
amazing.
song.
Great. That's great. Meg?
I'm gonna go either Black Sabbath or Metallica for Darth Vader.
Ah,
Ooh, yeah.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Char?
I'd say Green Day and Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
very
go.
teenage angst.
Yes, very much so. American Idiot, totally
Even though
on
he's
par
like
with.
29.
I,
but
I
still.
can I can hear after Luke disappears on Crate, and then as he's walking through the
Boulevard of
bunker
Broken
on
Dreams.
Crate, all you hear is Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yes. Yes, that's awesome. I
And right
love
when it
that.
says "I walk alone," the
Um,
dice disappears in his hand. It's
Oh, Jesus, that is rough.
just the facts.
Poor guy.
So,
Which is funny.
I have two from the same band. In the End by Linkin Park and Numb by Linkin Park. Specifically, Anakin Skywalker in the process of him turning into Darth Vader. Because if you listen to the lyrics, like, especially if in the end, because it's like, and Numb, because it's like in a couple of in one of the lines, it's like, you have all these expectations. And I always think that Anakin was trying to live up to those high expectations of being the chosen one, and it just never worked out.
Well,
So
Luke,
I always
I
go
was
ahead.
thinking maybe it was gonna be a joke, like if you said
No.
"Numb" by Linkin Park with Nyan Numb, but,
no.
but
No,
I mean,
I thought of this because it's a very I like to think very deeply into like what because some songs will remind you of like a Star Wars character. Like that's
Oh, yeah.
those two songs specifically because of all of like the really, I mean, it's depressing. Yes. Am I a depressing person? Maybe. But
"Oh,
like
baby,
do I
baby,
like having
wild world. No, I don't know.
I don't know because, and it's also because Anakin is my favorite character, and like I I seem to put a lot of songs with him because it makes sense with his character arc. So I always thought that it was an interesting question. So
Mhm. And by the way, Luke, on Spotify in 2018, "Numb" by Linkin Park was my #1 song.
nice.
And
I
oddly
mean, it's
enough,
a pop.
the second was "Enter Lord Vader."
Oh, nice.
So I mean,
nice.
hey, I guess
So,
it fits well.
on the right. Let's go to the chat real quick before we start the episode. Alanis or not a Kyber. Yeah, Char does go for the threat sometimes. Obi-Wan Kenobi, thank you. Hello there, General Kenobi. That's my line. You can't be hello there for me. I'm sorry. Nick Down, thank you for showing up. We appreciate it. So glad to have Hannah and Meg and obviously Liv. We can't forget about our vet. And then Ven, what's going on, Ven? Thanks for popping in. We appreciate it. Anybody in the chat, let me know what song. Answer that question as well, because I'm very interested to see what you guys all come up with. But Char, let's get into the episode.
All right. The plot summary for episode 19, season 4, Massacre. Sinister forces on the move. Asajj Ventress has suffered a humiliating betrayal at the hands of her own assassin, Savage Opress. Having gone into hiding, she now has no choice but to seek sanctuary with the Night Sisters on Dathomir.
Awesome.
That was fast.
That was quick. That's the
That was
quickest
like-
that you've ever done it. And
Wait,
and honestly, okay. So then the last one you have to do Gilbert Godfrey. We got two
Oh, no.
looks here. Come on.
So now it's a reoccurring thing. That
It's a
have to do
reoccurring thing
Godfrey?
for
Okay.
people that have never heard it.
You know, that
Come
could have
on.
been that could have been a good opportunity. It was literally 3 sentences.
Well,
That
now you got to
never
do the other
happens.
one. Now
I've
you
been
gotta do
reading
the other
plot
one.
summaries for like 5 months,
It's great. Well,
and it's
well, think about
never that
this.
short.
Well, think about this. You don't have to do any plot summaries for Rebels.
It's true.
So just getting in it now.
But
Gilbert
when the time
Godfrey, I
comes
tell you
when we have
what.
to cover Bad Batch, I have to do one at the very beginning, the first episode, because there is one.
So a little context.
Yikes.
So when we introduced Char reading Gilbert Godfrey's voice as like the plot summary,
Oh, I remember.
Ven was actually in the car, and he was like, "I literally almost just ran into somebody because you were blasting Gilbert Godfrey in my ears." So, then I will make sure. Yeah, and I agree, Alanis. Give the people what we want. Exactly. So next episode, you get to do that. Question for everybody that can see me: am I laggy? Chat, am I laggy?
No, Luke, you've been pretty good so far, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, we'll see how bad it. If it gets really laggy, let me know.
If it gets
All
bad, I'll
right.
take the reins.
Yeah, take the reins for a little bit. So first question. So Ventress, like Anakin, has never known true freedom. She has had those above her dictate her direction. At this point in Ventress's life, how do you think that she is working towards finding her own path? And
Luke, you kind of lagged a little bit there, but I think they heard the question.
Liv?
Okay. I think one of the only places we've seen her kind of welcomed into is with the Night Sisters, and we saw that with her previous arc with the Night Sisters. So I think she's kind of in this episode seeking out her path through them, especially because like those are her people, so it makes sense to like go back to them. So I think that's where she's trying to find herself.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree.
and I also think it's an appropriate place to go too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
especially with herself being a Night Sister.
yeah.
Meg,
At
your
this
thoughts?
point, Dooku has betrayed her for, the numerous times. And yeah, like Liv said, she goes back to Dathomir, which is her home planet. And, I don't know how much of that she remembers because, she was obviously stolen away or taken away by pirates or whoever it was and taken again. And then she became a Jedi and then, all of that. So I think that, yeah, going back to her quote unquote roots was obviously important to her to go back there and see, how she's gonna
Yeah,
go from there.
and there's a scene in the next episode where it connects with her past and how
Yeah.
she
Yep.
how she became what she is in the world. So
Yeah.
so
I
like
also
that.
think that like this is one of the first times she's really making decisions for herself. Like this is her choice to come back to the Night Sisters, and it's not with anybody else's influence. And I think that's what really for me is like this is the first time she is choosing her own path.
Mhm.
No, you're absolutely right, because like Meg and Liv were saying, and you put it so perfectly well done. So great job, rookie. Give her another round
was
of
good.
applause.
That was
Good
good.
job, rookie.
That was good. Very nice.
Anyway, I totally agree, because it's like every single time we've seen Ventress, she's either had a master or she doesn't know which direction she's going. And this is where she finally understands, maybe this like not being with people is probably not for me, maybe I should go on my own. And I feel like the what happened specifically in this arc with Grievous and Dooku and really reminding Ventress that this is what you were, and now we're coming to destroy you because you are a threat. And every single time we talk about Mother Talzin in particular, he is one of only 2 other women, maybe 3 other women, that Palpatine is actually afraid of. If you think about it, she has the power to take down Palpatine if she really wanted to. And that's why in the Night Sisters arc that Liv was on a couple of months ago, Dooku tries to get the Night Sisters and Mother Talzin to join the Separatist cause, because Palpatine doesn't want to deal with that. Like, no way. Like, he's got to deal with the Jedi. He's got to deal with the Senate. Like, one other headache is it might blow him over. But I just love the way that Mother Talzin is able to like push Ventress in a different direction. Like, we had this as a trivia question, because the quote is, like what was it, Char?
In this episode, what did Asajj Ventress pledge Mother Talzin? Or what did Mother Talzin want Asajj Ventress to pledge herself to?
Yeah.
I think that was what the question was.
Yeah, and it's the Night Sisters or the Sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very like that seems to me to be her only comfort at this time, because that's all she's that she's known other things, but where she's finding true purpose is with her sisters, which is very, very powerful. So we'll move to the next question. Char, take the next question, just in case
Okay.
I am.
Yeah, I'll take the next question. So the second question for the first episode is: the element of magic in this episode is an interesting mix with the normal sci-fi of Star Wars, along with many horror elements. It felt like a change of genre. How did you react to the different feel of the episode? Do you think that it gave a better insight into the arc and the Night Sisters?
Yeah, I think it definitely does. I think that it's important to have different feels for different arcs and different episodes to show. And I just think it's interesting in general. But I think that it helps to kind of put the pieces together for the Night Sisters a little bit, because, we don't see them entirely too much. We see them, a good amount, but not a crazy amount. And if we go from this to, then we fast forward to like Jedi Fallen Order, where we go to Dathomir and we see, those Night Sisters. It's like, we get
And
little
Marin,
to kind of puzzle the pieces together. And
Yeah, speaking of Marin, like this is like if you play Fallen Order, this is the moment that she talks about.
Yeah.
In the game, she talks about how they
a four-armed cyborg.
Yes.
Raided their planet.
Yeah, so I always find that interesting. But Hannah, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting change. I wouldn't necessarily call it like a genre change almost, because Star Wars, while like obviously I immediately think sci-fi, it definitely does have a lot of fantasy elements, and I think this episode just really leaned into those elements. And I think it really lends to the fact of how powerful the Night Sisters are, how powerful Mother Talzin is, that we lean into these elements that kind of break the mold on what we usually think of with Star Wars.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I honestly, I wouldn't. Here's the other interesting thing: everybody wants to put Star Wars in sci-fi, but in reality, it's all fantasy because there's not much science going on. Unlike like the true sci-fi genre is Star Trek. Star Trek is this is how I explain it to people that aren't as diehard as all of us might be and not understand like the genre. I say sci-fi is Star Trek, like science fiction fantasy is Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like the fantasy part of it, I feel like it's more fantasy because you're dealing with the Force. You're dealing with other beings, other cultures, more or less just like on a spiritual like basis, you know? So it's going to be it's great.
Well, sometimes science is a little bit explained in the story. I know you pointed out Pink Milk. Hey, Pink Milk, how you doing?
Hey, he's
I
going to
hear
be
that
at
he's a
Celebration.
panel at Celebration.
Yeah, he's going to be on the podcast stage. Go check out Pink Milk. They are awesome. We love having him. We had M on a couple of months ago. We still got to get Brian on for something. We'll figure it out. But
Yeah, and
always
what I
love
was
it when he
saying
pops
was,
into the chat. Sorry, Char. Go ahead.
yeah. So what I was saying was, so sometimes the science aspect of Star Wars is explained every once in a while, like, because some fans were like, "What's the science behind this?" It was the elements of the bombs in the Last Jedi, and of course they had to explain it in the reference book where it's like the red lights on them signify that there's something magnetic going on them, and they're magnetically drawn to their target. It's like we didn't need to explain that; you just had to believe it. But I mean, hey, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Liv, your thoughts?
I think the more like fantasy magical elements in this episode really make it stand out among the other episodes and really make the Night Sisters stand out and make them much more memorable.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more Night Sister stuff that we get, I think it is more interesting in my opinion because they're a culture that isn't really thought upon, or it's really
They're not
interesting.
covered much.
Yes, they aren't covered much. I mean, you only get what 3-4 episodes of them, and I mean, you get quite a bit in those 4 episodes though.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And then you get Jedi Fallen Order if you played that game. That gives you more context into that. And obviously,
I hope in the sequel to Fallen Order we get more Night Sister lore with Night Sister Marin. So
see, I think she might become a Jedi.
that would be
Hot
cool.
take.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But Char, I will go ahead and ask the next question. I'm being told that my stuff isn't too bad, so I'll try to take a shot at this one.
Yeah, your FBI agent says it's okay.
Yeah. Ventress is a formidable opponent against Grievous. He eventually wins by having to rely on the droids to help him. What does this say about Ventress's strength and how she has grown from our first introduction to her? Which was in Brotherhood, technically. Great book.
Yeah, and
you guys haven't
I
read
finished it. I finished it yesterday morning. Yeah, and it's
Yesterday morning.
fantastic.
Speaking
I
of
can't
which,
read that fast.
Oh, no.
I
No,
need
2
like
days
a
ago,
lot
2
of
days
time
ago.
for my brain
2
to
days ago.
process.
So Meg, you should. Okay, so this is how I process, but like Star Wars books. So I listen to the audiobook and read it at the same time.
I know
That
I'm gonna need to do that.
That helps me so much because it. So if have any of you listened to the Revenge of the Sith novelization?
No,
I read
Definitely should listen to it because the same narrator for Brotherhood did the Revenge of the Sith novelization.
Cool.
So, and there's a lot of references to that book in this one. So,
nice.
What's his name again? Luke?
Jonathan Davies. Jonathan Davies.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, he does everything. I just got my cover of Brotherhood signed by Mike Chen, the author. So that's awesome. But anyway, back to the question. Let's go Hannah first.
Yeah. I think like this is one of those moments that we really see Ventress like come into her own in terms of like confidence, and like this is one of those moments that she's able to do everything like completely on her own. Her own skills. She doesn't need anything else or like a master or anyone behind her to be able to win this battle. And I think that says a lot about how much she's grown from the first times we've seen her when she's under everybody else's influence to being able to overcome someone on her own.
No, yeah, especially Grievous. And I mean,
Yeah.
let's be real. Grievous in the 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars is way more menacing than this Clone Wars. And I will go to the grave like saying that, because the only reason why Grievous kills a bunch of Jedi is because he has overwhelming numbers.
Yeah.
Like he's a good duelist, but he can take out Padawans and younglings and maybe a Jedi Knight once or twice here and there. But he can never take out a Jedi Master. He can never take out Kit Fisto. Can never take out Obi-Wan. Never. Like it's so funny how we hype him up so much. And I don't know. I wish we would get a novel about him, to be honest.
Yeah,
So that we could learn more about his character and stuff like that.
I'll dive deep when it's my time to answer the question, but I think Grievous is the most overrated Star Wars character ever. That's in my opinion. It is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Meg?
I think that it shows, how much she's grown, obviously. And I think that, I honestly think that she is quite possibly one of the strongest dark side force users. Sith, I mean, she's just, as she's grown, it's the things that she's gone through that have kind of made her stronger and made her, stronger opponent against these people who are maybe a little stronger than her or maybe not stronger than her, but obviously Grievous has a battle droids behind him and all kinds of stuff, and she still held her own for the most part, and that shows strength. And obviously everything she's been through, it takes strength to get through that as well. So
no, yeah, absolutely. Liv?
One of you touched on this earlier, but the difference here is she's not fighting for a master anymore. She's fighting for herself and for her sisters. And I think that really makes her a lot stronger, and it really, as you all said, shows her development.
No, yeah. Have any of you read Dark Disciple?
No, but I want to so bad now. After watching this episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to read it so bad. But I'm reading like 3 Star Wars books right now.
Which ones are you reading?
So I guess I'm not technically reading them, but I have them. The Thrawn Legends, not the Timothy. The old ones, like the ones.
Heir to the Empire. Heir to the Empire.
Yeah,
I've got those 3, but I haven't touched Legends yet. So I've read like 4 or 5 canon books. So I don't want to even go into Legends really, but I want to read them so bad. But I'm trying to read also Kenobi Legends. So I'm trying to dive into Legends, but I'm also like, oh, I don't know that I want to do that.
Are you reading
the
Kenobi book by John Jackson Miller?
Yeah, that's what I'm
You're currently reading.
I'm like a chapter in, but it's so good. But I'm like, I want to try and finish it before Kenobi airs, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, because I want to dive into those. I want to reread that book because it's like the potential of them bringing in an element from that Legends book. Since John Jackson Miller is still a current writer at Lucasfilm, it's very likely that they might bring something into that story.
Oh yeah, but nothing too insane. That book kind of gets a little insane.
I've read some of the excerpts and stuff like that about things that he does in the book and sad things, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to see that on film. I don't know that I'm.
We'll talk about Kenobi here in a little bit.
Isn't sad enough.
We're gonna get some. You think Mara J. Skywalker's sad quotes of Obi-Wan every single day until the show comes out is bad. Get ready for the show.
Oh my gosh, yeah, those break my heart. I'm like, no. I'm like, scroll. I don't even listen to it. Nope, can't.
Yeah, Beth is so great. I love when she does that. Now I just. Are we the next question, or what did I just?
I think
I kind of wanted to dive in a little bit on this.
No, yeah, go ahead, Char. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ventress is insanely powerful. I just think that we overestimate how powerful Grievous is, because Grievous is really not that much. If you're not intimidated by him, he's simply just a robot with 4 arms and lightsabers. Because the reason why he beats Padawans like Nadar Veb and all these other younger Jedi Knights, or some Jedi Knights, but mainly Padawans, is because he's intimidating. He's a 7'3" cyborg that coughs, and he has 4 arms and he can spin his lightsabers really fast. That is all he can do.
Yeah.
Eth Koth, Obi-Wan, Kit Fisto, Asajj Ventress, they all held their own against him. But when the time came, he would just call reinforcements to back him up.
And he runs every time.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what it
time.
harkens back to what Mace Windu told Palpatine in episode 3. Grievous will run and hide like he always does. He's a
He's a
coward.
coward.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
because when
His
Eth
little
Koth
run that he
fought him,
does.
because Eth Koth
Oh.
had him on the ground, and then his Magna Guard just started hitting him with their staffs, and then when Asajj Ventress did that, he was fire on her, and it's like he can never take anyone one-on-one unless it's a Padawan. Because it's so sad too, because how he defeats Nadar Veb, Kit Fisto's Padawan, it's literally by a blaster. It's not even by lightsaber.
No, yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
But all right, so the next question. Speaking of Mother Talzin, Mother Talzin proves to be an extremely powerful figure in this arc. She is one of the few people that Dooku and Palpatine are afraid of. Why do you think this is? What makes her so terrifying?
I have good notes on this, I think.
Go ahead, Meg. Go ahead, Meg.
Hold on.
Take the floor.
Okay. I think that Palpatine and Dooku are so scared of her because of the powers she possesses. I mean, the Force is the Force, but her powers are almost like voodoo-like. Like, she can do things, like, I don't know, I could be very wrong, but like in the Force, I feel like there's only so many things that you can do where you're present and you're doing something to somebody else that's in a different area. Like, obviously there's the Force, you can feel the Force and things like that. Like, oh, I sense something. But for Mother Talzin, it's like, Dooku was in a completely different, separate area, and she's, controlling and using, her powers to do all that. And the powers that she has and the army that she has is crazy. And I think that those powers they obviously scare them. And bringing the dead back to fight for her is a little scary. So
Yeah.
I think
just
that's a little bit maybe why.
Yeah, just imagine that against like if the Jedi were smart, they would have been like, Mother Talzin, you're the key.
Yeah.
We need you.
I think we all need an old DACA.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
yes.
she's
That
scary in her
lady.
own, like, just her voice alone is a little
No thanks.
And
What
you got
in the
typical-
hell are you
the
talking
typical
about,
witch
lady?
Nose. It's like, it's a very big nose, and it's like, I will perform the magic for you.
I'm just like, okay.
Typical
So but
witch,
here's the other thing: is Mother Talzin is the leader. Is the other old lady? What's her name again, Char?
old DACA.
Old Daka. Do we think that she was where Mother Talzin was at one point?
Maybe, but she's literally stuck behind a wall. as funny as I say it, she
can use the same type of ability to get out of that room. It's not like she's stuck there.
Yeah, but she didn't get out of the room at all.
Well, it's because she was doing the witchcraft. Come on now.
Well, when Talzin came in there, she was just sitting there. She was
Yeah.
like,
Well, I mean,
do I need to resurrect anyone?
yeah, it's just interesting. Liv, your thoughts on Mother Talzin?
Well, I think obviously she, knows things about the Force that Palpatine doesn't. She has these powers that we've seen in these arcs, but she's also very self-assured in a way that, like, some of his other opponents aren't. There was one line, and I forgot to write it down, but right before she, like, plops Dooku's little voodoo doll in her cauldron, she said something about don't mess with the witches, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, she's powerful and she knows it, and Palpatine should be scared.
Yeah, absolutely. Hannah?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I just forgot. Did she give Dracula vibes to anyone else? Her stupid the accent?
sometimes I feel like a whole Hansel and Gretel type of vibe.
Oh, like yeah,
Yeah,
like the witch from that. Yeah.
yeah, she gives off old Hansel and Gretel. You know, it's quite interesting. You know what I mean? But Hannah, your thoughts?
Yeah. I think what really makes her like the reason why Dooku and Palpatine are so afraid of her is truly that she can't be controlled. And Liv touched on this a little bit, but she has her own agenda. She has her own like ideas about what she wants to do, and she can't be controlled, and knows more about the Force and has magic on her side that they don't really know how to manipulate to their abilities. They don't know how to manipulate her, and that makes her a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And just seeing Dooku in the state that he's in is very, very powerful, because it's like he's at this point he's not touchable. Like nobody can get him. People have tried to assassinate him, and it's never worked up until this point. And to see him at the brink of death is very telling, and that's why I think Palpatine is afraid, because witchcraft is different. The what Mother Talzin uses is like Meg was saying. It's not really. It's a little bit of force ability, but it's more of just witchcraft. And in having that witchcraft in Star Wars, I think is so fascinating, because I think it heightens that witchcraft. It makes it, the Force is able to give them more abilities to do things like obviously use a voodoo doll and
their
Galaxy
magics.
Away.
Their magics, yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane what they can do. And to think that if Mother Talzin would have survived, here's another off the wall question: would Mother Talzin have joined up with the rebellion? Or do you think she would have just stayed on her own?
I think she would have just been independent.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the
Fight for the Empire! I will not. I will stay here and resurrect the Night Sister army.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, if they would have left her alive, though, she would have been a headache.
Marin has informed me.
Yeah. Just
why am I doing this?
I don't know, because she's got like that wavy like outfit. She's extra, which is great. I absolutely love it. But it is just incredible. Like if she would have survived, it would have made Palpatine and Vader's like dominance like so much harder.
Yeah,
and just how powerful she is.
And what happens in this episode foreshadows the Son of Dathomir comic book series.
Yes.
With Dooku, Maul, Grievous, and Mother Talzin on Dathomir, and it's a very fun read. If you haven't read it, go ahead and do that, because it's like it tells a more. It's different. Instead of Ventress, we have Maul, and the Shadow Collective do a lot more on Dathomir, and it's funny to see how Maul is in so much control over Dooku and Grievous in that series, and I think it's just very interesting.
Well, and that was supposed to be an arc of the Clone Wars,
yes,
along with Dark Disciple. So
along with the Utapau thing too, with the campfire and Anakin and
Obi-Wan. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Did I miss anybody? We just got to talking. Has everybody answered the question?
I think you did.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So let's go to the chat. Alanis likes the fact that Meg is going into Thrawn. Trust me, she is one of the biggest Thrawn stans. But I will say that she has Brotherhood over all of the Thrawn books that have come out, and over Master and Apprentice.
Master and Apprentice is so good.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. So Brotherhood is
Master and Apprentice was the first Star Wars book that I ever read. And
really?
I'm so glad that I started with that.
Starting with Claudia Gray is not bad at all.
Dooku, like anything with a little bit of Dooku and his past and all of that is just.
You would like
Dooku is very underrated.
Have you read Dooku Jedi Lost
by
Cavan Scott?
I haven't. I was gonna read that first,
good.
but then I went to Barnes and Noble and they didn't have it. They had Master and Apprentice, and I was like, all right, guess I'm getting this.
Yeah.
No,
Guess
yeah.
this is what I'm reading.
Yeah. Ven says Mother Talzin and Marin are the Wandas of Star Wars. I mean, that's true. Element 7 or Diet in the Force every Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Aw, Pep called me beautiful.
He definitely wasn't talking about us because we're both ugly compared to the
I know, yeah.
the others here. I'm not even gonna try to hide it. I've got the whole ratchet Obi-Wan look right now, so I'm just trying to work on that.
Yeah, and I got my mustache, which I think it looks pretty good.
Dude, we're not gonna talk about this right now. Like every single time I have to look at your face, it's just like, God damn it. Just want to. Yeah.
Hey, Luke, you can deck me in the face at Celebration. It's fine.
No, I'm not gonna deck you in Celebration. I'll probably just give you a big old bear hug, if I'm gonna be honest.
Aw.
Well, not if I give you a bear hug first.
No, don't make this a competition right now. Please.
I'm gonna hug you
stop.
harder.
Okay, all right. You've taken it way too far now. Yes, I am exposing you, Alanis. Sorry. That's just the way this goes. She agrees with Meg that starting with Master Apprentice, that used to be her #1 book, and then Brotherhood jumped it. So, and I kind of agree. Getting a lot more Qui-Gon is what I want to see more Qui-Gon in more content.
Yeah, that's the thing that I would recommend people that haven't read any of the new canon books. I'm like, you either start with a book that really connects with your favorite character, or connect with a book that dives deep into the trilogy that you really love. If you love the prequels, read Master and Apprentice. You can read Dooku Jedi Lost. You can read Dark Disciple.
Brotherhood.
You can read Brotherhood. Yeah. You can read all that kind of stuff. But it's like if it's OT, Lost Stars, you got Catalyst. I mean, Catalyst is a prequel book, but it dives into Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all that stuff. It's like if you have a favorite trilogy, read more about it because it just makes it even better.
Yep, absolutely.
And it adheres to your liking.
Yep. Char, Gilbert Godfrey. Come on.
See, there's someone downstairs on a phone call. So, I mean, and the only way that I can make this effective is if I yell. So, like,
okay. All right. All right. So I will give you a pass.
So unless you want me to do a half-ass one.
No. We'll show them that
Exactly.
after we're done here.
Okay. Thank you.
I won't hurt you because there's somebody on the phone and we don't want to get people mad. So
because I would not be holding back to say that my
hold on. We might
erupts my house.
Wait, hold on. I could probably pull up the video that you gave me.
But before that, before that, I'll read this one in the regular voice. But but once I'm done with this, you can show them the.
I will. We'll do it after. Sorry, I'm getting
after the episode or after the summary.
After the episode.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, so season 4, episode 20, Bounty. Abandoned. After an assassination attempt by his forsaken apprentice, Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku launches a brutal counterattack against the Night Sisters. I thought I was reading the wrong one for a second. Massacring the entire clan. Forced into exile, Ventress wanders far into the Outer Rim, among the castaways and vagabonds of the galaxy, seeking her new life that was foretold by Mother Talzin.
Oh yeah, yeah. I completely forgot that Mother Talzin had said something to her at the end, which is interesting because Mother Talzin seems to be looking out for Ventress, which is interesting. So I forgot to do the moral of the first episode. It says one must let go of the path to hold on to the future, which is very compelling in the first episode. Now in the second episode, the moral is who we are never changes. Who we think we are does. So thinking of that, we see an older Boba Fett in this episode. How has he grown as a leader and a person? How do you think he views the galaxy at this point in his life? Liv, go first.
Not older to Ventress, of course.
Well, duh, but we're talking about us. But audience, go ahead, Liv.
It's been a minute since I've seen the arc with him, with the clone cadets.
Yeah.
But I felt like he was really angry in that arc and just angry at everything. And he seems a bit more I don't know. he's got it more together, and he's
Yeah,
working with other people now. And we're starting to see him like evolve into the Boba that we kind of are more familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think he's more calm, cool, and collected here for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in that
Yeah.
arc that you mentioned, he's seeking revenge. That's
Yeah.
really what he's there for. But in this one, he's very laid back, and he's like, let's think about this plan, and let's just get this job done.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Meg, your thoughts?
Well, I think that he's obviously he's grown a little bit, and with the help of, I think obviously he's around older people, older bounty hunters, people to kind of, show him the ropes, and I think he's obviously learned from that, and I think that he has probably obviously taken his anger and pain and kind of shifted that towards, making him a better person, better bounty hunter, and like Liv said, the person that he, we come to know. So
No, yeah, absolutely. And Hannah?
Yeah, I think at this point we see a much more level-headed Boba Fett as compared to the past, that he's a lot more thinking through his actions. He's got the confidence of a leader and a little bit more of the experience to go along with that, because the last time we see him, he kind of thinks like, oh, I'm Boba Fett, I can do whatever I want, and gets kind of put in his place a little bit. But I think at this point, he's got a lot more confidence that's backed by experience. Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with age comes experience. And especially for that arc that we were talking about within season 3? Is it season 3 or season 2? I think it's season 2.
For the Boba Fett arc?
Yeah, it's the end of season 2.
It's the last arc of season 2.
Yeah, last arc of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see in that arc because he's very connected to the clones. Like he's very hesitant to pull the draw. So you kind of can see the consistency of where he's at the point where we're closer to in the original trilogy than what he is from that arc. So you can kind of see the character development. He's been in jail. He's been through hell. And it really shows because he does take on that leader role. And obviously he's got Bosk, but there's no real harm coming, you know what I mean? Yeah. Char, your thoughts? Since you are the Boba Fett stan here.
Yeah, I mean, I loved his personality, and whenever Ventress tried talking to him, he was like, who do you think you are? Who are you talking to? Who do you think you're talking to? And I love that his growth is not sudden, where it's like he's ready to wear the armor. That's one of my facts that I'll dive into later. But I love his portrayal of his character in this episode is because he's still young, but he's showing progression because at this point in time, he's 12 years old, 13 years old. And it's like, it's crazy to see his progression being that young and in charge of all these bounty hunters. Like he's the leader of Crate's Claw, which is the name of the group. And they're just getting jobs done. And I don't know.
No, yeah, absolutely. What were your guys' thoughts on the droid? The droid was really menacing.
Oh,
yeah,
right?
kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
think about that. I always talk about how the Separatists did not put enough money into these. They added these B1 battle droids. Yes, they're funny. They are good for numbers. But let's get more tactical droids in here. Like, come on. Like,
the tactical there are tactical droids, but
yeah,
they're
but
like
they're not.
send in reinforcements.
Yeah, but I mean, like B2s.
But here's the thing. So Highsinger, see the reason why droid battle bounty hunters like IG 88 and IG 11, because they're rogue. You can't control them.
That's true.
Because I mean, if the Separatists were to control them, would you see their full potential? That's the thing. You know,
maybe.
If Highsinger just pulled up and started just doing IG-11 like out in like the very like second episode of The Mandalorian where he just starts spinning around blasting people, I think it would. I don't think it would fit well.
Oh, interesting thought. Char, go ahead and ask the next question.
All right. So the second question of the second episode is Ventress shows her true morality within this episode. What does this say about her growth as a character? Had she found the girl at any different point in her life, do you think that the outcome would still be the same? The girl as in her Pluma, the one that's in the
Pluma.
little treasure chest.
Yeah,
I don't know
which
how
is
she gets oxygen,
weird as
but-
hell. This
Yeah.
whole concept is weird as hell to me. Just
I think that
strange.
it almost kind of foreshadows when she goes to help Ahsoka a little bit.
Ooh.
Like Ahsoka's, lost at that point, and I mean, she's not been
Oh,
taken,
yeah.
or it's not a job or anything like that. But I think that Ventress sees this girl, and then obviously later on she sees Ahsoka alone and whatever, and she realizes like, oh, being bad and doing all this doesn't always fulfill my needs and who I want to be. And I think that if she would have found that girl when she was a Jedi, I think that she would have done the same thing. I think that she would have saved her. I think she would have gone with the job, obviously. But I think that if she would have been doing this job as before she became one with the bounty hunter, I think that she would have. I don't think that she would have. I think she would have gone through with the job. Like I think that she would have just gone through with the job completely, and then not saved her or helped her. So I think that it again shows her growth and shows her character and how she's changed, and the things in her past have kind of shaped her and makes her choices for her. So
Yeah. Anyone want to piggyback off that?
Yeah. I will say that I agree that I think she had to be at this certain point in her life for her to release the girl as she did. Like, I think whenever I think of Ventress, like, truly my first thought is about agency and the fact that, like, she is now on her own path. And I think for her to not go through with the job, she needed to be at this point where she was on her own path and recognized that, like, she is now free of herself and recognized, like, her own pains of the past. And that, like, now she doesn't have a master and she can do what she wants. And having to go through those things first before she is able to get to the point where she doesn't go through with the job to give somebody else agency, to let somebody else go on their own path.
That's very true. That's
Mhm.
that's very, very true. Liv?
Yeah, I agree with what Hannah said. We're seeing her make her own decisions and being her own person now.
No, yeah, absolutely. And Kenny, Darthman86 makes a good point. It shows that she has compassion. Outside of the Sith, she will always help sisters, even if they're not one of her own kind. Her own, yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say.
His name is Kenny.
Yeah, that's Darthman86's name.
My little South Park self kind of.
I was just I was like,
God.
that was the first thing that popped in my head.
Oh man, you poor,
My orange hoodie.
you poor unfortunate souls. Anyway, so it's very interesting to see because a lot happens in this episode, and you do get to see Ventress take a path that, like y'all said, it wouldn't have been possible in the first couple of seasons of the Clone Wars, because she is so dedicated to Dooku. She's so dedicated to the Night Sisters. Now that she is on her own, she has her own perspective, and she always known right from wrong. Now she has the ability to make that decision for herself, which I feel like is very, very important for her, especially when you go down the line in later episodes of the Clone Wars with her involvement, and then also in Dark Disciple as well. Char, your thoughts?
Oh, is that what was the? Oh yeah. It's just Ventress as a character is different because, like Luke just mentioned, Dark Disciple. Her character in Dark Disciple is vastly different than what we see in this arc. You see her as someone. I don't want to give away spoilers.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to talk without giving away spoilers, but I think at this point in time, she's figuring out what to do on her own and what is best for her rather than following a command by another person, which she spent the majority of her life taking orders from Dooku. And it's just I find it so cool that she was willing to see Pluma, the girl in the treasure chest, and she was able to understand her point of view and be like, hey, I was taken, I did not want this, I was taken and I was put in this position. And obviously her origin story with her getting taken from pirates, as I believe Meg said earlier, and she was taken by why am I forgetting, why am I Kyneric, his name is Kyneric, the Jedi Master Kyneric.
Yes.
And then watching, and like her whole path to where she is now, she's recollecting that and understanding, like, I can be more than just my lightsabers. And I'm glad that she's finally coming to that point, and it's just awesome to see.
No, yeah, absolutely. So for the last question of the arc, while this arc is going on, the Clone Wars is still happening. What does this say about the state of the galaxy, especially with the Jedi being spread so thin?
Well, I think it shows us that, bounty hunter activity and crime, like, kidnapping is happening and it's running rampant, and, everything is spread so thin so it can't be prevented. And also things like the massacre on Dathomir hasn't been noticed. So a lot of things are just going under the radar right now, and a lot of really messy things are happening.
Yeah, it's not like you have the Jedi from the High Republic, where there is no conflict besides the Nihil, and even before the Nihil, they had these abundancy of resources. But as you read in Brotherhood, they're knighting Padawans at a very fast rate, even when they're not ready.
Yeah, that's in the beginning of the book too.
Yeah.
It's just to get more Jedi into the war.
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate to see where the Jedi and where they end up, where obviously their downfall is that they do join in, and you see the whole galaxy suffer because they are so involved in this war. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go to Meg.
Me?
Yep.
I agree. It's so funny that you Liv said running rampant, because that's literally the exact word I put in my notes. Was like, that everybody was just running rampant. The bad guys, the separatists, on Dathomir, this thing has gone unnoticed, and how many other things are being unnoticed and just getting people are getting away with things that they probably normally wouldn't get away with. And with the Jedi obviously spread very thin, the galaxy is just in disarray and just not in a good state. And with the Jedi being so involved in a lot of these different, happenings, it's showing that they can't do it all. And yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hannah, your thoughts?
I think you both summed it up great, because literally in my notes, running rampant and disarray are my keywords in there. So I think with the Jedi spread so thin, bad things are able to occur. And there's not much we can do about it. And there's no one really seen the effects of how, like, the aftermath of all these bad things occurring. It's just kind of spiraling downhill, and the Jedi are away. There's nothing we can really do about it. But yeah, I think you both summed it up great.
No, yeah, and Element makes a good point. We see in the Clone Wars the Republic nurturing some relations with crime families, such as the Hutts, especially during the Clone Wars movie. That's the only way that they are able to get trade routes and supplies in their forces through, is by having relations with the Hutts, which had been done since the High Republic. At one point, the Jedi do end up joining up with the Hutts for the first time ever, which is interesting.
Well,
so
the Outer Rim, I'd say.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. And it's just and you can clearly see that in the next arc, or not even the next arc, the Maul's Ascension arc to Mandalore, in particular, because he's able to become a threat and get the crime lords to all follow him. And just to think that if the Jedi wouldn't have been so into the war part of it, they might have been able to stop all of that from happening. And I think that's very, very important to see where, especially when Yoda talks to Ezra in Rebels, he says the Jedi we were wrong in joining in on this fight. And he admits that later on. And it's very, very compelling that some of the Jedi do think like that. And that's also in Brotherhood as well. That gets brought up. So,
Well, and also in Empire Strikes Back when
Yeah,
Yoda says
Empire,
wars not make one great.
yeah,
like-
absolutely. But yeah, that is going to be it for recapping this arc. Char, 3 interesting facts.
I will hit you with these 3 interesting facts. All right. 3 interesting facts about a certain Clone Wars arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 27, the Asajj Ventress Arc Edition. Fact 1, like master, like apprentice. Dooku's order to Grievous, wipe the witches out. All of them. Closely echoes Darth Sidious's command prior to the Battle of Naboo. Wipe them out. All of them. Fact 2, Dengar's armor. The episode features a young Dengar voiced by Simon Pegg, who also voices Unkar Plutt in The Force Awakens. Dengar is seen in his prime in relatively intact armor, suggesting that time has passed when his armor was not really decayed as it was in The Empire Strikes Back. In fact 3, the reason for Boba Fett's outfit. We decided not to put Boba Fett in his iconic Mandalorian armor in this episode, explains Dave Filoni. Rather than use his father's armor, which would still be a tad big for him, we gave him his own unique helmet and armor. It's a step towards who he will become, but to get to the final famous look from classic films, he would need to get some help. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about the Asajj Ventress arc.
All right. Those are some good facts there, Char. You always come pretty prepared.
Yeah,
And it's good.
unless Malik comes and eradicates one of the 3.
Yeah. And then you got to scramble. But that
Yeah.
hardly happens anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So now we are going to rank the episode Youngling bad, Padawan okay, Jedi Knight good, Jedi Master great, and Grand Master Chef's kiss. So how many Grand Masters have we gotten? 5?
5. We've
had 3 in a row that have been Grandmaster.
Yes,
starting with
we had Mortis, we had
Umbara.
We had Umbara. We had our most recent arc, the Obi-Wan Bounty Hunter arc. That was our 3rd one. We had the Pursuit of Peace and Senate Murders, which was the Padme arc. That was our 4th. And what was our 5th one?
I think there was one in season. I think the Geonosis one.
No, it was not Geonosis.
No, it wasn't Geonosis. I can't remember. There's been so many up. We're on 45 episodes of this, and I still can't remember all the rankings.
It's hard.
But
well, maybe we'll need to pull up a
we need to start keeping track of that. You know, you think we should, but we don't. But let's start with one of the rookies. Let's start with Meg. What's your ranking of this arc?
Should I do each episode individually, or am I giving the whole
All
arc?
together.
Yeah, the arc as a whole.
Arc as a whole.
I'm gonna do. Let's do Jedi Master. Because we are showing more in depth of the Night Sisters and Boba Fett, and we're getting insights on things that we wouldn't see if there wasn't a Clone Wars arc about it. So,
yeah. Zygerian slaves.
Yeah, that's
Zygerian
right.
was the other one.
Yeah, Zygeria.
And that was also I really enjoyed that one as well, especially after Umbara. It's just great. Hannah, your thoughts?
I'm also going to go Jedi Master. I think it was great giving a lot of character insight into Ventress. Yeah, I think it was great.
There you go. We got two agreeing. Liv?
All right, I'm actually gonna give it a Grandmaster
Oh,
because I'm a sucker for Ventress and I love seeing character development. But we also got zombies, and I'm a sucker for zombies. So
all right. Char?
I'm gonna go give this one a Jedi Master. I love more Ventress continuity. I think Ventress, in my opinion, is the most underrated Star Wars character, and I've said this many times too. I actually replied to a tweet today saying who the most underrated character was, and was Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, it's
We
funny
get-
that you did that. I was like, we were talking about her today, so
Yeah.
that's good
Yeah.
job.
And we get more Dooku, we get Grievous, yuck.
Yep.
And we get Boba Fett.
Yeah. I think the
which
Boba
also
Fett
helps.
was the cherry on the top right there for sure.
I am always happy for Boba Fett, and
Yeah.
like what Liv said, we get zombies too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a master arc. I just think I love seeing how Asajj Ventress's character is set up throughout the remainder of the show and in Dark Disciple. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I give it a Jedi Master.
I'm gonna give it a Jedi Master. It's great. I really do like the witch part, the witchcraft, and how it feeds into like the Force abilities that they're able to use. I think that's amazing. Everybody in the chat, let us know what is your guys' rankings, and if we get them through, after we get done with Star Wars news, we'll go over them. But I would say it's culminating. We didn't if one of the other guests would have said Grandmaster, it would have been our 6th Grandmaster. But it's good to keep it, keep it a little grounded. We can't always give out a Grandmaster, but yeah, Char, let's get into Star Wars news. All right. So, if you guys haven't noticed, there's a little show called Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out next Friday.
That is a pretty little show. I'm excited for it though,
Very good show that one of us is going to be trying to look like at Star Wars Celebration when he meets Ewan McGregor. It's
That's
gonna
him,
be,
by the way. That's him.
it is me, but I just want to ask. We'll start with the rookies because it looks like, well, we lost Liv. She'll be back. She will be back. This happens at least once every podcast, so it's not new to the new people. But what are your guys' thoughts on the marketing? Like what they're pushing right now? Like, what are your thoughts from hearing Ewan talk and Hayden talk and even Moses talk some about her character? What are your guys' thoughts on the press tour that they're doing?
I'm excited. I love it. Everything they do. I think it's very nostalgic and getting me back into it. And I'm just so excited. Every new thing they come out with, I'm like, yes, more.
No, yeah, it gets me really excited because you get to hear Ewan say, "Oh, well, I didn't really after the prequels, I didn't really pay attention. It was not fun for me." And then he meets the age group that those movies were made for, and it's changed him and Hayden's perspective on those movies. And it really gets them back into doing it. It's just I'm so excited. I've wanted this project since they announced that it was a thing that they were thinking of. It was a rumor even from when Disney bought Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
It started out as a movie, then they had a director, then they changed it due to circumstances, and now it's a Disney Plus show. And I think it's perfect. I would have rather it seen as a Disney Plus show, 6 hours. Hopefully every episode is an hour long. Because if it's not,
I think it's supposed to be. I think so. I don't know why or where I've seen or heard that, but I believe it's supposed to be like an hour each. Like it's like a 6-hour event, like kind of thing.
It should be. You don't tease us with Obi-Wan and Anakin / Darth Vader and not give me hour long episodes.
Which Hayden, I think, because Luke, you're mentioning Ewan McGregor coming back. Hayden it was a even bigger deal.
Yes,
like he took 10 years off of the film industry because once the prequels were done, he saw how much his character and the movies were disliked. So he took a 10-year break. That's a decade away from the film industry.
Yeah.
And now he's back playing Star Wars. We should be thanking our Lord and Savior that he's back.
We should be getting on our knees and just thanking the makers that they were able to pull this off.
He didn't have a reason to come back.
No.
But knowing how much the prequels are received today gave him that motivation to come back and play the character one more time, or more times in Ahsoka and other productions. But
I think he's going to be in Ahsoka. I just think that there's too many signs pointing to it, especially with this Vanity Fair. I think that they're going to put out another one, and it's going to have, because it's just too perfect. Too perfect.
I think that also Hayden deeping, like both of them, they dove deep into these characters.
Rebels, Clone Wars.
Hayden specifically watched all of the movies and Clone Wars and Rebels. And that's huge.
Rebels makes me think he's going to be in Ahsoka. That just makes me feel
he's analyzing Vader.
He's analyzing Vader, and the other thing is that he gets to see the development of what he was in Attack of the Clones, and then he gets to see Matt Lanter. And I arguably think that some people see Matt Lanter's Anakin Skywalker and Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker different. I think they are more similar. It's so similar because I feel like Dave was trying to get some of these actors to not act like Hayden or Ewan, but to have the same mannerisms.
Yeah.
And I when people say, "Oh, I don't think I think Matt Lanter's better Anakin Skywalker," and it's like, well, yeah, you would think that because he has more screen time, you know, and it's exactly. But Liv, what are your thoughts on the press tour?
I mean, I'm really excited. I've loved seeing all the interviews and everything. I haven't watched all of them. I feel like there's been a lot that's come out.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's just so exciting. And like you all said, it's great to see them talking about it and how excited they are to be back in their roles. So.
No, yeah, it's just I can't stop talking about how important this is going to be the biggest Disney Plus show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's including Marvel.
Yeah.
Because Marvel's done a really good job with all of their shows. But I just feel like, yes, The Mandalorian is still great, but you're bringing back two beloved characters and you're having their story play out in the way it's going, not the way I think it's going to, but the way it's done, and the way that Deborah Chow has directed all of her episodes of Mandalorian. Just she knocks it out of the park. And I have every faith that they're going to do this justice because they have some people just don't want to get on the train of Disney, Lucasfilm. This is the best thing that's ever happened to Star Wars is Disney buying.
If we didn't have Disney, Lucasfilm, we probably wouldn't have nearly as much.
We wouldn't have any of this.
No, yeah.
Literally,
people are ungrateful. They're just like it for what it is for the most part.
Content.
Just enjoy it. Come on.
Yeah.
Have your opinions and give them, but don't be a hater.
George Lucas had an idea for a sequel trilogy, but he never intended on making it.
No.
He never intended to.
No, he said that years ago.
We wouldn't have any of this. We wouldn't have a Boba Fett show. We wouldn't have Rebels.
We wouldn't have Mando.
All of this stuff. We wouldn't have season 7 of Clone Wars. None of this would have happened if it was just given to Disney, a company that has so much power, owns everything, and can easily get creators and storytellers like Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
And Deborah Chow and Rick Famuyiwa and Bryce Dallas Howard and all of those people that have been involved with Star Wars because of Disney's ownership. It's incredible. It's incredible how they just get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Especially Kathleen Kennedy. My God.
Oh yeah. It's just so it's so funny because people on YouTube will be like, "Oh, these plot leaks are terrible," and it just makes me think. You think that they put out not reliable, they put out fake leaks just so that people can fucking talk shit, you know? it's so interesting to me, like from a standpoint, it's like you like, and think about this in the trailers. They didn't reveal much. And even now with these clips that are coming out, they're not revealing much. There's no sense of what this show is going to be. We get like basic plot stuff. And it's like, okay, so Obi-Wan's going to be sad, dealing with a lot of PTSD.
Always.
And then we have, because I really believe Vader's not going to show up until towards the end of episode 2. Because like,
I hope he
because,
shows up
like-
immediately.
well, no, because here's the thing though.
First
You
clip.
don't- See, with Vader, you want to use him very sporadically. You don't want to
Yeah.
throw him at us right away. You want those Inquisitors. You want the Grand Inquisitor to get a shot at Obi-Wan. You want Reva to get a shot at Obi-Wan.
That's gonna happen first for sure.
Yeah, you want them to get their shot, and when it fails, they bring in the big guns.
And
Yeah,
speaking
exactly.
of Reva, Meg, I know that you've been mentioning Fallen Order every so often in the show. I was telling Luke my theory as to who Reva is, and I think that she is Seer's sister.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what if Seer had an apprentice that fell and became an Inquisitor? What if she also had a sister that was once a Jedi and then became an Inquisitor? I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that would just build on like the tragic side of her story.
I could see it.
How like everyone that she's loved became an Inquisitor or fell to the dark side.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know,
that's
that's
an
just my
interesting
theory.
question. No, that's a good question. What do you guys think of Reva's character so far from what we've seen from the trailers? what
third
Moses-
sister.
Yeah, the third sister.
I'm excited. Oh, she's the third sister. Is that what she is? Third
Yes. Yes.
Is there only 2 brothers, 5th brother, and
There's
we haven't seen some of them, right? Like in comics or others. Like we have.
well,
like,
there's the 5th brother. There's the 6th brother.
8th
There's
brother.
the 8th brother.
The 8th brother's
there's
in
There's the 10th brother.
Yeah, there is a 10th brother. The 8th brother is in Twilight of the Apprentice.
It's like,
He's the one that is tracking Maul.
right?
And the 6th
Yes.
the 6th brother is the Inquisitor that Ahsoka defeats, which she gets his crystals and purifies them to get her white lightsabers.
That's
so
in us. Is that in the Ahsoka book or no?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say. I feel like I read the Ahsoka book. I was like, I feel like that's where that's from.
No, yeah, absolutely. Hannah, what are your thoughts on Reva?
I'm kind of don't have a ton of thoughts yet. I'm kind of leaving it open and letting my judgments form, kind of thing. So I don't overly have a formed opinion.
And you know what? That's honestly not like that's probably the best way to do it, to be honest. Because you like we build these expectations for these things.
Oh, yeah.
And when they're not met, some people are upset about it. Whereas me personally, like I have expectations. My expectations for the show are sky high, but I'm not going to absolutely hate it if they don't go the direction that I think that they should do.
Yeah.
Because let's be real here. These creators, these writers, directors have been thinking about this story for so long. And what they probably are going to put on screen is going to be 10 times better than what I thought of.
Yeah.
You know? And you can't allow your own opinion or your own thoughts cloud what is on screen. You know? And the thing that gets me really excited is that Hayden has come out and said these fights are going to feel more like prequel, which has me a little worried, but it also really excites me because I don't think we're going to be seeing episode 2 like I think we're going to see like a mixture, and Harith Productions did say this. This is what me and him have had long conversations about this series. Host of They Fly Now. He wants, and I'm kind of the same way. I want the emotion, the stakes of the original trilogy, the strength and the power of the sequel trilogy, like the emotion, and see how Rey and Kylo's fight, specifically in Rise of Skywalker, is so like it's very much like it takes them a while to get to places and stuff like that. But I also want a little bit of the flashiness of the prequels, because this is 10 years after. They're not at the point where they're in A New Hope yet. So something has to happen between these two characters. And I just absolutely cannot wait to do we're gonna be doing roundtables, watch along reactions. When I say that when we did this for Boba Fett, I was excited, but literally this is all I've been thinking about. And
I don't
we
even
get
think
to
I
see.
can record my reaction for this show because I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna be a blubbering mess. Everybody's gonna be like, what
Yeah.
is she even saying?
It won't be coherent.
turn this
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Half of the reactions that we see online now aren't coherent. Go watch our reaction to the first trailer. My God, I was incoherent.
The trailer was literally a minute and 20
cried.
seconds, and he cried after 5 seconds.
Yeah. After seeing Obi-Wan, and when you hear Obi-Wan say, the fight is done. I was like, oh, Jesus. God
Yeah,
damn
the
it.
Vader breathing and just like the one clip of him, I'm like,
and that's in the way that they've used Vader specifically is just so great. You don't throw him at us immediately. Just
I
give
think
us...
that you're right. It's a perfect way to because we've seen him. We know who he is. We know how scary and intimidating he can be. We don't need him to come right into this and be there. We know how he is. So yeah, that's nervous.
I'm just really, really excited, and hopefully we can get some of the folks on screen to maybe be on roundtables, do reactions with us. We go crazy for this stuff. We'll get up at the same amount of time, which makes me mad. Disney, come on, give us Friday Star Wars. Leave Wednesday for Marvel. Give us Friday for Star Wars. I get it, but this is a big event, and Char and I well, those that are going to Celebration, I have a feeling we are probably going to see the first episode before anybody else does, because that panel, that Thursday panel of the live action stuff, I think we're gonna get Andor trailer. I think we're gonna get news on Acolyte. We're gonna get stills from Ahsoka, because they just started filming. Rosario Dawson might be there, or she might do like a little call-in thing. And then
maybe we'll get something of Mando season 3.
Yeah, Mando season 3.
Hopefully.
And then
Bad Batch.
So Bad Batch is gonna be on Sunday. So they have their own panel.
I'm sad. I'm not going to Celebration. I wish I was going.
Yeah,
I'm only on Friday, so.
Oh, you're going Friday. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome.
Luke and I will be there.
Yeah, we'll be. Well, yeah, that's when I will be premiering the Kenobi look. So if you see me, don't hesitate, wave, whatever. I might be looking a little tired after meeting you, and because that'll drain me. But yeah.
And on Friday I get to meet my good old buddy Tamara Morrison. Boba Fett.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's Friday. This Celebration is going to be fun.
I'm so happy for everybody that's going.
Yeah, everybody
so
should
awesome.
At least, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should make that something that you would want to go to.
I'm going. I have it in my plans for next year, 100%. I'm moving in the next month, so it just it's there's just no but
no, absolutely.
But I'm gonna live vicariously through everybody else. So it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I haven't spent any money.
Yeah, and they'll be live streaming the whole convention.
Yeah.
So there's some
I
stuff
won't get
that
to
you
meet
can
any
get.
of my TikTok friends, but someday.
Oh, someday you will.
And at the end of this Celebration, we'll find out where the next one is. So maybe you could plan on coming next year.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I plan on that because I don't know. I need to go.
I think the next one will probably be in Orlando.
I hope so.
The last one was in 2017, so
yeah,
maybe
we'll see. Today marks the 17th anniversary of one of the best Star Wars films, and this is subjective because Chard doesn't have it that high, but it's my favorite Star Wars movie. Revenge of the Sith came out 17 years ago today. What are your guys' thoughts? What were your first interactions with this movie in particular? Can you Can you tell me the first time you saw this movie, either in the
In
theater
theaters.
or you did?
I was 9 or 10. Yeah, my dad
Yes.
has taken me to see each prequel. So I was like, I mean, I don't even remember it. I was like 4 when Phantom Menace came out, and then I was like 7 or 8 when Attack of the Clones came out, and then I was 9 or 10 whenever Revenge of the Sith came out. And I can specifically remember seeing Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and even only being 9 or 10 years old, I knew how big and how important that movie was, and seeing Anakin obviously turn into Darth Vader, that was just, even at 9 or 10, I'm like, no
Terrifying.
way, this is crazy.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was my
Yeah,
first. That was
lucky-
like my first memory of Revenge of the Sith. So pretty cool for me.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah.
Lucky for you, Meg, because when you said the Phantom Menace, I didn't exist when the Phantom Menace
Oh my
came out.
gosh, I know. I feel like
Um,
I'm not old. I feel I'm not ancient, but I'm 27. So
Meg,
a lot of
Meg,
people are.
same.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
the same age. So
Everybody's
like,
a baby. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys
Yeah.
are babies.
yeah, exactly. It's
I was
like
born in 2000.
I remember.
Me too.
My
Hey,
God.
That's I feel like there's like people are like, oh, I was born in 2007, and they're like, like 15, and you're like, what the? No,
What
there's
are
no
you?
way.
Oh God. It's like
Yeah.
this isn't fair. This is
And also, Luke, speaking of Phantom Menace, why did you not add the 23rd anniversary of the Phantom Menace on here?
Yeah, is that today too? Yeah.
Yeah, because Phantom Menace is great, but we're
But
talking about the
you-
best movie. Sorry.
That's subjective, but you also got
I
to
like Phantom Menace.
give Phantom Menace some
Phantom Menace.
praise.
Phantom Menace. Okay, so after reading the Queen's trilogy,
Oh,
those
so
movies-
good. So good.
Those movies have
EK,
been
thank you.
enhanced. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
But-
the best.
Hannah, what was your first interaction with Revenge of the Sith?
I don't remember is my easy answer because I was 5 years old when it came out. And I like genuinely don't remember most of my first interactions with Star Wars because I was shown them at such a young age. They've just been, all the movies have just always been a part of me. So I'm like pretty sure I saw it in theaters, but I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I was Padme at one point for Halloween when I was really, really young, and I'm pretty sure it was that year, but like I don't remember. So
That's kind of cool though, that
Yeah.
like you don't even remember where your love of Star Wars started because it started so young for you. That's awesome.
yeah, it was like genuinely I was born and was a Star Wars fan. Like I was shown them so young. My brother and I used to fight over, we had a disc set of the original trilogy and I would steal it. And that is one of my first memories of Star Wars.
Your parents did right. They had done right. They had done right. You can thank mom and dad. Liv.
All right. Well, I'm about to make you feel real old because
Oh, here we
I
go.
think I was 2 when it came out.
Damn,
I
damn,
don't
I'm
remember
old.
my first time seeing it, but I remember my dad being like, "Okay, you have to cover your eyes when Anakin gets chopped up because you can't watch that." And I remember being like, "Okay, Dad, I'm totally not watching right now." So for some reason that really stuck out to me. But I remember watching it again over quarantine when I really got into Star Wars and being like, "Oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing."
Yeah. Char, your first interaction with Revenge of the Sith?
You see, I'm with Hannah. I don't remember, but I remember my first ever
Every time seeing it?
memorance from Revenge of the Sith was when I played the Lego Star Wars game, the first one,
Oh, okay.
and just remember that Episode 3 was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that
It
was
is a
my,
fun. It's a
it
fun.
wasn't an experience from the film, but it was an experience of the movie from another source.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude.
but I think the first time I ever watched Revenge of the Sith was like 2007, maybe.
Yeah. So 2 years later.
I don't know, but I just remember my first interaction was when I saw Attack the Clones by coincidence on TNT. They
Yep.
were airing it before Revenge of the Sith came out, and I remember it because I always played with my Obi-Wan Jedi Starfighter
Yeah.
in my room, and I was like, "That's from Attack of the Clones," so that's how I remember it.
Yeah.
So
So my love of Star Wars is because of my mom, and she took me and my sister to see Phantom Menace. So we had gone. It's kind of like a family thing. We always go to the new Star Wars film when it comes out. Well, Mom wasn't gonna be ready to go in time to see it like the first day, and me being 9-10 years old, like Meg, I was like, I'm going. So my neighbors were going to the movie, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to tag along?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the neighbor's mom was like, you have to ask your mom. And I was like, thinking to myself, my mom's not gonna let me go. But
Oh
but
no.
like I go, okay, and then I ran over, opened the door, like sat inside for like 2 minutes, opened the door back up, closed the door, ran all the way over to my neighbor's house, and I was like, yeah, she's okay with me going and seeing it. And literally, that is the thing that I remember of Revenge of the Sith so well. Like the scale. The first part of the film is a goddamn space battle. So being 9-10 years old, that shit was amazing.
Yeah.
And then the lightsaber battles, the suspense, the drama of that. It is arguably one of the most depressing Star Wars movies ever created. And
the promotions around it too were nuts. I mean, they were everywhere. Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, like everywhere you went. Commercials. It was like everywhere you went, there was
The
Star
Darth
Wars.
Vader Slurpee.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere.
No,
on
yeah.
everything. It was like,
Meg, if you remember, were you a big gamer when you were a kid? Did you ever play
yeah,
video
I've
games?
always been, yeah.
Okay. So if you remember this, Revenge of the Sith video game came out 2 weeks before the damn movie came out.
No way. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
people were like
Yeah,
already
it came out
having
on
it
May
spoiled
4th.
for them, like through the
Yeah.
video game.
So I played the game, and I kind of knew what was going to happen, but it is different.
It is, yeah.
Because you do fight Mace as Anakin, which
Yes.
didn't happen.
No.
You get to see more of what happens in the Jedi Temple, which some people want that on film. I would rather not.
Yeah.
Unless they do it with the Grand Inquisitor. Like the Grand Inquisitor faces Anakin, hooded Anakin, and like gets bodied, and then he.
And also, I
chooses to
remember
join
playing
him.
that game as a kid too. That was
Yeah.
one of my
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean,
favorite-
it's just, and then
And-
The
Battlefront
alternate
2
ending.
came out a year. Yeah, the Battlefront 2 came out the year before that.
Luke, I just
Oh,
imagine
so
you when
good.
you were playing that game before the movie came out. You saw the alternative ending to the game where Anakin kills Obi-Wan instead of vice versa. And you're like, you know what? That's going to happen in the movie.
Yeah,
it makes
yeah.
absolutely no sense,
Yeah,
but it'll happen.
9-year-old me was like, I like it, Picasso. But yeah, and with that is going to be the end of this episode. I want to thank everybody here on screen and also in the chat. We'll start with Meg. Where can the good people follow you on social media?
I'm most active on TikTok, so I would say TikTok. And it's Megskyrenobi. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for coming on. It's so awesome to finally have you on. Can't wait to have you on for some Rebels arcs, some Rebels episodes.
Yes, please. I have 4 episodes left, and I refuse to watch them because I know what happens, and I'm not prepared for that yet.
Yeah, I Rebels is a different animal. It's
So
gonna
sad.
be fun. Can't wait to start that, and I
Yeah.
think we're starting that in August.
Nice.
So
I'll get caught up.
Yeah, we'll be
4
definitely
episodes.
looking at that. Hannah, where can the good people follow you?
I'm also most active on TikTok. So Hanchiar on TikTok.
Thank you for coming on. And we'll also, again, the same goes to you. If you guys ever want to come on for anything else, Rebels, Kenobi Roundtable, watch along, anything like that, the door is always open for you ladies. And
Luke, I love how you're preparing for Rebels, and we still have 3 more seasons of Clone Wars to get through.
Yeah, I am. I am.
Gotta be prepared.
Yeah. Liv, real quick, show people your shirt you're wearing.
Oh yes. I'm wearing this one
Oh, that's
from Far Away Factories.
Yep, far away factory. B_Dazzler.
Yes.
Go check out her stuff. She is currently going through the brand representatives right now. But go check out her stuff. She has everything from Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. She just did custom Air Jordan Darth Vader shoes for me that I will be wearing for probably a lot of the time when I'm not in cosplay. But I will be wearing those shoes for a Vader Galaxy's Edge bound on Wednesday. So go check out her shop on Etsy, but really go check out her website. That's where we can really help her out the most. Go check out her stuff. You won't regret it. Now, Liv, where can the good people follow you?
You can follow me at Kyber Crystal Designs on TikTok and Instagram.
Jar, where can the good people follow you?
Thank you. Good people, you can find me on TikTok at CharCharJ, as well as Twitter, Instagram, and you can find me here at the Pod Ones podcast every Thursday night to cover our Clone Wars rewatch. Next week, we'll be covering the Maul Ascension arc, and I am excited to do that. Actually, no.
Yes,
we won't be doing that
it'll
next week.
air. It'll air
air
on
next week.
Thursday. It'll
But it
air
won't
on
be
Thursday.
live.
We will be at Celebration, so we won't be able to do a live show, which is fine because we're
That's
going to be
right.
so busy doing a whole bunch of other things with Celebration and obviously the trivia tournament. If you guys aren't following the trivia tournament, the match between Element 7 and Star Wars Lawyer dropped yesterday. Also on here, anybody still in the chat, go like, comment, subscribe. That would help the channel so much. We'd dearly appreciate it. While we are at Celebration, we will be doing the live roundtable for episodes 1 and 2 of the Kenobi show. It might be a little bit more relaxed, but we will have more details about that later on. And we will also be filming the match, the championship match for the trivia tournament belt. And that will come out probably the following week. So be on the lookout for that. Harith is dropping the semifinal match between Kier and Pat. We will drop that on Saturday, and then we will have the final between the winners of those two matches, and that will come out on Wednesday, and then we'll move from there. But you guys can follow me on man, now I just lost where I was
Twitter,
going.
Instagram.
All right, so TikTok, the Pod Ones Podcast, Twitter, Pod Ones Podcast, and on Instagram, the Pod Ones Pod. Thank you everybody for coming. That's gonna be it for Light and for Life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the Force be with you.
Always. See you guys.